Since 1991, hundreds of UFO sightings have taken place across Mexico, many during the day. The military has gone from complete denial of these events to a more open position.
The Mexican government, the authorities, the military, have been kind enough to talk about the phenomena, to give comments, to acknowledge that most of the incidents really took place, that they believe in the phenomena, they don't have still any explanation, then that's the truth.
Since the UFOs never seemed to take any aggressive action, most Mexicans were delighted by their regular appearances. But that all changed on January 16, 2004, when a trembling young police officer told reporters he had been attacked by a flying creature in the city of Guadalupe.
¿Realidad o fantasía? Le tendremos la historia de un policía de Guadalupe que narra la supuesta aparición de una bruja.
As he was patrolling the crime-ridden area in his car, the young officer claimed a figure dropped from a tree onto the road.
At that moment, he stopped the car, the patrol car, and he noticed something. This body was floating above the ground.
He turned on his high beams for a better view.
Estaba vestida de negro y tenía los ojos grandes y tez morena. Ya no le alcancé a ver más. Estaba vestida de negro, traía un gorro y con una punta hacia atrás. Pero no tenía nada de escoba, nada. Iba volando sola.
The creature then suddenly flew at the car, smashing repeatedly into the windshield.
So he put the car in reverse, the patrol car in reverse, trying to run away. He asked by radio for backup, and this flying thing was trying to grab her through the windshield. She was looking at him. It was very close.
Terrified, the police officer raced backwards, hitting a wall and losing consciousness. Later, medical tests revealed that the officer had no drugs or alcohol in his system, but was in a deep state of shock.
Psychological test revealed that he was not suffering and has never suffered any kind of hallucination or any kind of psychological disorders.
Many ufologists say that what attacked the officer is a new and frightening alien being called a flying humanoid. One amateur video even caught two flying humanoids in the air together.
This was like a huge dark being with some kind of big, huge cloak. Above this big flying being was a winged entity. Suddenly, a smaller being is expelled from the big flying entity and fly away. And then that smaller entity returned and was absorbed by the bigger one.
¡Ay, ay, se le pegó! ¡Se le metió!
Como tapa.
Some people think that these are bad aliens that are flying, trying to abduct people. However, these are only theories. We don't know exactly what's going on. But the images are there.
UFO investigator Stanton Friedman doesn't find these images persuasive evidence that the creatures are real.
I've looked at a number of reports of flying humanoids. I wasn't terribly impressed.
But believers like Ed Sherwood think it won't be long before these creatures and others make themselves known in the United States.
The people of America are ready for the fact we are not alone. And I do think that coming up in the very near future, there is going to be an unprecedented UFO event, an event that once and for all affirms that we are not alone.
Coming up, some residents of Phoenix, Arizona say they've experienced such an event. Is this proof that we're not alone?
Thousands and thousands of people saw it.
And later, have aliens been here before?
The petroglyphs show objects hovering in the sky and little stick figure people pointing up, looking at it.
The desert climate of Phoenix, Arizona has made it one of America's fastest growing cities. Visitors seek out its luxurious spas and world-class golf courses, while residents enjoy sun-drenched days and moonlit nights. But on the evening of March 13, 1997, as people across the state gathered outside, hoping to catch a glimpse of the famous Hale-Bopp comet. Those clear desert skies revealed something far more spectacular. What emerged from the Arizona night triggered the biggest UFO controversy since Roswell.
Immediately overhead was something that did not compute. We had never seen anything like this before. It was enormous, it was absolutely silent, and it was moving fairly slowly. I felt as if I could reach up and touch it. My sense at the time was that something extraordinary was happening on our planet.
A formation of extremely bright lights in a V shape flew from one corner of the state of Arizona to the other and turned around and flew back. 3 hours. Thousands and thousands of people saw it, were witnesses.
There was a Little League game going on, and they all saw it. The kids saw it, the coach saw it, the parents saw it. There were people that were shopping, going in and out of the malls, and they saw it. There were people who were outside jogging, and they saw it.
The lights took an extremely low path through restricted airspace. And no one seemed to know what these lights could be, or where they came from. Were extraterrestrial beings involved? Concerned, Frances Emma Barwood brought the matter up at a televised council meeting. But city officials quietly urged Barwood to drop the subject.
One of the assistant city managers came to me and told me, if anybody asks, you know nothing and don't talk about it.
Barwood decided to pursue the mystery further, but no matter what branch of government she turned to, Barwood says she came up against a brick wall.
As far as the Phoenix Lights are concerned, the government knows nothing.
Barwood believes that if the government had investigated the matter, they would have discovered that a handful of witnesses had also filmed the strange light formation. Jeff Willis, a UFO photographer for over 10 years, was in the mountains above Phoenix that night and shot video of the lights at 7:30 p.m., almost 3 hours before the mass sighting.
They were probably, I would say, a good, probably about 35 miles away, and from their size, it's really hard to determine, but I would say they were probably as big as 3 jets put together in length. They were really big, and they were moving very slow. They had to have been something strange, for sure.
The footage that revealed the most detail was shot later that evening by a physician who until recently remained anonymous.
I was a healthy skeptic when I began all this. Even though I saw something myself, I didn't come forward for 7 years. I stayed anonymous, looking to try to find a logical explanation for what I witnessed.
Dr. Cutie first saw the lights in 1995, 2 years before the mass sighting, just a few hundred yards from her secluded home in the mountains above Phoenix.
When my husband and I had our first close sighting, it was as close as that tree right there. It was extraordinary. There were 3 amber orbs in a triangle formation just hovering about 50, 75 feet off the ground for minutes. They were about 3 to 6 feet each, very soft amber color, and they didn't glare. And the thought going through my mind was, if I don't get a picture of this, nobody's going to believe it. As I was watching these 2 orbs, it felt that there was an intelligent presence staring back.
Was this intelligent presence an alien being? Cutie believes yes. And in January of 1996,